Welcome back for Chapter 2 of our book, Caves. In Chapter 1, we talked about what caves are, how they're formed, what weathering is, and different landforms, and we also talked about glaciers and sea caves, and even lava tubes. Chapter 2, we are going to talk about underground wonders, and while we're reading, I still want you to be on the lookout for those different text features. So we'll stop after each page and we'll try to point out the text features that we have found. Underground caves are worlds of wonder hidden inside the earth. There are far more underground caves than any other kind. The most famous and amazing underground caves are limestone caves. Limestone is a soft sedimentary rock. Over hundreds of thousands of years, water wears away the limestone to form caves. The caves range in size from narrow tunnels to enormous caverns. A limestone cave can stretch for hundreds of miles underground. Limestone caves are home to awesome and weird rock formations. They are also home to animals like bats, spiders, and other strange cave creatures. Our caption says millions of bats live together in one cave. Cave pearls are one of many strange rock formations found in caves. What text features do you see on these two pages? Comment below with some that you see. You can put page 12 and write a text feature, or page 13. I see quite a few. I see our heading here, Underground Wonders. I see some bold or highlighted words. I see some photographs and captions. And I have a text box here with our vocabulary words and what they mean, kind of like a mini glossary. Do any of you have any rock collections, or do you collect, it says awesome and weird rock formations, or have you seen any of these types of things out in nature? I'd love to know. A limestone cave is a type of solution cave. A solution is a mixture made up of a substance that has been dissolved in a liquid. As rain falls, it soaks into the soil. The water picks up a gas called carbon dioxide. Together, the water and gas form a solution called carbonic acid. This acid can dissolve or eat through limestone rock. The carbonic acid seeps down through cracks in the limestone. Slowly, the acid wears away the rock. It carves out bigger and bigger passages and rooms. The acid mixes with underground rivers and streams. They carry away even more of the limestone, making the cave bigger and longer. Over time, the water drains away through underground channels. Air enters the hollow cave. Down here, this is a diagram, or it can be called a cutaway. It's like when you slice a piece of cake and you can see the inside of it. So, the ground doesn't look like this from our point of view, but if it were to be cut and we could look at the inside of it, this is how it would look. So this is the formation of a limestone cave. So we have rainwater coming down. This is the limestone. And then inside or underneath, we have a cavern. We have cracks. And we also have tunnels. When air enters a limestone cave, it stops growing larger. However, water keeps falling into the cave. Drip, drip, drip. Each drop of water carries a mineral from the limestone called calcite. The water deposits the calcite back into the cave. Over thousands of years, the calcite builds and grows into amazing rock formations. When the water leaves specks of calcite on the ceiling of a cave, a stalactite forms. It hangs down like a stone icicle. When the water leaves specks of calcite on the cave floor, a stalagmite forms. It rises up like a stony spike. A stalactite and stalagmite can meet to form a column. Let me zoom in here so you can see the picture. These formations decorate La Juguila Cave in New Mexico. Then over here we have a little chart that tells us the differences. A stalactite hangs from a cave ceiling. A stalagmite rises from a cave floor, and a column forms when a stalactite and a stalactite meet. So they touch together from the floor and the ceiling to form a column. We are going to do another activity with our vocabulary words. So I want to match each description with the correct smart word. So if you want, you can get a piece of paper and write down your answer or just say it out loud. 1. I grow up from the floor of a limestone cave. So if you remember, which one grows up from the floor? That is a stalagmite. If we go back, stalagmite rises from the cave floor. Number 2, I hang down from the ceiling of a limestone cave. So stalagmites go up, so which one comes down? That would be the stalactite. Number 3, I am a rock formed by layers of sediment in the ground being pressed together. What type of rock is formed? Yeah, that is sedimentary rock. Number 4, I am an acid that makes limestone caves. That is carbonic acid. Number 5, I am a soft sedimentary rock. That is limestone. Number 6, I am a mixture of a substance dissolved in a liquid. That's called a solution, which leaves one left. I form when a stalactite and a stalagmite meet. That is a column. Let's go over some facts. Did you know the United States has approximately 17,000 caves? Over 200 of them are show caves. People can take guided tours of these caves on walkways or by boat. The rest of the caves are wild. And in video 1, I talked about a couple caves that you could go visit in Ohio, so those would be called show caves. How big? Mammoth Cave in Kentucky has 350 miles, or 563 kilometers, of passageways that have been mapped. There are even more yet to be discovered. It is the most far-reaching cave system on Earth. So that's not that far from us either. Kentucky is south of Ohio, so you can check that one out too if you ever want to go on a road trip. That's amazing. The Cave of the Ghost in Venezuela is so huge that 2 helicopters can fly into it side by side and land near a waterfall inside. That would be awesome to see a waterfall inside of a cave underground. And then down on this side it says talk like a scientist. Imagine that you are inside this cave. Describe some of the things that you see. Use smart words. So think about our vocabulary words from this chapter and even from our first chapter. Let me go back so you can see those. Close your eyes and picture yourself in a cave. What types of things would you see? What would it feel like? Does it have a smell? Don't taste anything. I'm imagining big stalactites and stalagmites coming up from the floor. They're kind of rough looking but sparkly. I bet it's slippery and cool and maybe a little wet from water dripping down in the cave. You might see some columns, maybe even some crystal rivers or pools. If you have time, maybe look up some pictures on Google to see what they look like, or draw the picture that you're imagining. Chapter 3, Exploring a Cave. Would you like to explore a cave? A scientist who studies caves is called a speleologist. Speleologists go underground to learn how caves form. They make measurements, observe how caves change, and study cave animals. They study caves to learn how to protect them. A speleologist explores the darkest parts of a cave. Other people like to explore caves too. They are called spelunkers or cavers. Caves are dark and dangerous. Spelunkers need special clothes and equipment to explore caves. They wear sturdy boots and a hard hat with a headlamp. They carry a compass, a rope, a first aid kit, and food and water. What are these text features called here? By now we should know that these are photographs and these are captions that describe. Well, what are these? We have flashlights, first aid kit, hard hat with light and rope. These are called labels. We also have our heading. Why do you think a spelunker or a caver needs a hard hat with a lamp? One, it is very, very dark. You can see in this picture just how dark it is. So you would definitely need a lamp or a flashlight so you can see your way around. And the hard hat is to protect themselves because there might be falling rock or there could be an accident with the ropes. It is just better to be safe and prepared. I like the word spelunker. It's a fun one. When spelunkers explore a cave, they go into 3 different areas or zones. Each zone receives different amounts of sunlight, has a special climate, and houses different plants and animals. Spelunkers enter a cave through its mouth, or opening to the outside world. First, they walk into the entrance zone. This part of the cave is closest to the environment outside. The entrance zone has some sunlight. Green plants like moss can grow here. This part of a cave is cool during the day and warm at night. Animals like bears, raccoons, snakes, and mice might use the entrance zone to eat their food, sleep, or make a nest. So we can see this diagram here, different cave zones. So this first one, this looks like the mouth or the entrance to the cave. So this is the entrance zone, and you can see some sunlight comes in here. We have the twilight zone, which looks a little bit darker, and then the dark zone, which looks completely pitch black. This photo shows the entrance zone. We can see a bear sleeping here. It kind of looks sunny but dark behind it, and it has lots of green plants. I also noticed something too. It talked about the temperature, but it didn't tell me the exact temperature, which was one of my questions that I had. It says the entrance zone is cool during the day and warm at night. What I'm looking for is the inside of the cave. What temperature is it? Is it the same all the time? The next part of the cave is the twilight zone. Spelunkers have to turn on their headlamps and flashlights here. The twilight zone is much darker and cooler than the entrance zone. Green plants can't grow in this part of the cave because there is not enough sunlight. Fungi like mushrooms and molds grow in the cool, damp air. The twilight zone is home to the best-known cave dweller, the bat. The largest bat colony in the world is Bracken Cave near San Antonio, Texas. It is home to about 20 million bats. Definitely not endangered or extinct like some of the tigers from our last book. There are 20 million just in this one cave. During the day, the bats hang from the cave ceiling and sleep. At night, they fly out of the cave to hunt for insects. One bat can eat between 600 and 1,000 mosquitoes or other insects in 1 hour. Bats are not blind, but they use sounds to help them fly in the dark. The bat emits sounds and listens for the echoes. This process, called echolocation, helps guide bats through the twilight zone of caves. And I bet that they have to be very careful when flying through a cave because of the stalactites and the stalagmites and all of the columns. So, echolocation is helpful for bats even though they can see. The deepest zone of a cave is called the dark zone. It is always cold here and pitch black. Spelunkers see a strange world here in the glow of their lamps and flashlights. Insects and water creatures scurry and swim about. They are blind and have no color. Animals that live in the dark zone are called troglobites. They include spiders, centipedes, salamanders, and fish. These animals have lived in total darkness for many thousands of years. Some have eyes that do not see. Others have no eyes at all. These strange animals are colorless because they need no protection from the sun. On their journey out of a cave, spelunkers go back through the twilight zone and the entrance zone. Finally, they reach the mouth and see sunlight. Spelunkers leave the cave as they found it, following the caver's rule. Leave only your footprints behind. So here are some weird or interesting animals that you might find in the dark zone in a cave. We have a crayfish, a salamander, and you notice these ones look different than the ones that we find in rivers and such. They have no color because they don't need protection from the sun, and they don't need eyes because everything is pitch black anyways. And we have a spider. I don't think I would like to visit the dark zone at all. I don't like spiders. I don't like centipedes. So I might stay away from caves after all. We are going to stop here, and then during our next video, we will go over our vocabulary quiz and some facts and talk a little bit more about text features. See you then!